Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been so long since I filmed a video that I'm like awkward doing all of this and talking to the camera, and I just feel so awkward. That's what happens when you go a while without filming video. But yes, if you follow me over on Instagram, then you already know this, but I am pregnant again, and so excited. I'm about 15 weeks. I'll be 15 weeks like the day after tomorrow, so I'll just say I'm 15 weeks. Okay, so the app says the baby is the size of an apple. That seems big to me. I thought in this video I would just kind of talk about the first trimester now that I'm in the second trimester. So if you didn't already know this, this was an embryo transfer, a frozen embryo transfer from our IVF cycle that we did years ago. And yes, frequently asked question, we do know the gender. I haven't like announced it yet. We actually knew before we transferred him or her. And so that's one of like the few benefits, I guess, of IVF is like if you are a planner, it's kind of nice in that way. It's probably like the only benefit. So anyway, yeah, this was a transfer, and the whole like protocol that you have to go through with the drugs for a transfer is you have to be like on the birth control pill for a few weeks, then you have to take estrogen like at varying doses, you have to take progesterone injections. And at my fertility clinic, I don't know if it's like this everywhere, they also like tell you that you should take baby aspirin every day, and that's because the estrogen, the birth control and the estrogen increases your risk of blood clot and stroke, so the baby aspirin is supposed to like prevent that from happening. Problem is, last year I had these stomach issues, which I never actually did get like an official diagnosis, but just based on reading, I think I just had gastritis, which is like just inflammation of your stomach, and that had finally healed itself. I'd kind of forgotten about it, and I really don't know like how or why it went away, but it had. And anyway, when I started taking the baby aspirin again, the symptoms started coming back, and then by the time I was like actually pregnant, you still have to take the estrogen and progesterone like the whole first trimester, and it was just like getting worse and worse and worse, and it was getting to the point where like every time I ate I was in pain. And it was different this time. It was like, it was general pain, which is like gastritis, but it was also like very localized sharp pain in one spot, which is more of like a stomach ulcer type of symptom. I really don't like taking any drugs at all during pregnancy, but I really got to the point where I didn't know what else to do, because like I said, I really couldn't eat anything. And I was starting to get worried because an ulcer can cause like internal bleeding, like it can be a whole thing. And I was like, what if like something serious like that happens and I'm pregnant? Like what can they even do? So I talked to my doctor about it at my first appointment, and he prescribed me a PPI, which is like a proton pump inhibitor drug. And apparently they're pretty relatively commonly used during pregnancy, and I was like Googling everything about it, the one that I was prescribed before I started taking it. Like at first I filled it, and then I was like, do I want to take it? I don't know. But the pain, like I said, it was getting bad, and it was like every day, and it started hurting even when I would wake up in the morning, like before I would eat anything. So yeah, so I started taking that. I think that's been about a month ago. It's helped a lot. I still can't eat like red meat at all, like beef and pork, sausage, anything like that. That seems to be like the worst foods for me. But everything else, like I can eat pretty much everything else, it seems like. So it's definitely getting better. And I read online that those drugs take like about 2 months to kind of like heal an ulcer. So ideally I would like to not be on it the entire pregnancy, if I can get off of it eventually, like once my stomach is better. I don't know. I just feel weird about taking a drug like my whole pregnancy like that. Other thing about the first trimester, just like symptoms wise, I just felt terrible. Like, and I did the first time around too when I was pregnant with Charlie, but just so tired and down and unmotivated, and honestly like depressed. Like that's kind of how I get in the first trimester, but I think it's amplified by the IVF drugs, because there's a certain point where there's an overlap and your body is making all of those hormones on its own, but they still have you take the drugs, like supplement the drugs just to kind of be on the safe side. There's like a few weeks of that, and that was when I felt the worst. So I think progesterone for me must be a drug or a hormone, I mean, that like just makes me feel really kind of bummed out. Estrogen for sure, like when I was taking, there's a certain point during the transfer process where you're taking like 3 estrogen pills a day. My neighbor's mowing the yard right out there. You're taking like 3 a day, and I haven't had like a panic attack, anything like that for a very, very long time, but I was at the mall with Charlie and I was like, I really thought like, am I having a heart attack or something? Like I felt like my chest was tight and I was like freaking out, but it was just anxiety, because that's what estrogen does to me. So estrogen, and then literally once I start the 2nd trimester and I'm done with those drugs, it's like instantly I feel so much better. And so like I said, now I'm 15 weeks, I feel so much better. Like I just feel back to normal. And in the 2nd trimester, and this happened last time too, I get like not just more energy overall, but I get a lot of like creative energy. Like I'll wake up with like ideas for like business ideas and like all this, I don't know, it's weird. Let me know if any of you have ever experienced this. But I actually in the 2nd trimester last time around, I like started a whole new business, which was so dumb, but I didn't know. I mean, I was just going off like how I felt, like yeah. And that's how I feel now. I just have all of this creative energy. And I'm gonna, instead of starting a new business, this time I'm just gonna try to like film a lot on YouTube and get back into filming, because it's just, I've been so inconsistent. But literally, like I said, 1st trimester, I mean, I didn't even really have the energy to like do anything. So I was taking a nap with Charlie every day. I was going to bed early. I mean, I just very, very tired and down. But yeah, when I was pregnant with Charlie, I started a whole new business, and then like I had him, and you know, 1st time mom, newborn phase, it was wild. And I was just like, what was I thinking? And I had to just like shut that down. So I've learned that lesson. But I think the bigger lesson here is like, never underestimate the power of hormones, because it is just, to me, crazy like how different you can feel. You can feel like a totally different person based on what your hormones are doing, or at least that's how I am. Maybe I'm just like extra sensitive to these fluctuations. I don't know. Same as last time, last pregnancy, I have had very, very little morning sickness. I have no complaints as far as that goes. I know people, plenty of people who are sick like their whole pregnancy, or at least their whole, you know, 1st trimester. And no, I have like both pregnancies, I've had 1 week and it's week 7. So there must be something hormonally that happens there where I feel nauseous, and I don't throw up. I just feel kind of nauseous, and like very few foods sound good. This time, the only thing I wanted for that week was this specific pasta salad from a specific restaurant, and I ate a ton of it that week. And then the next week I was like back to normal, eating, you know, regular food. So weird. But I really feel for people who have that, you know, for an extended amount of time, or who are throwing up every day. Like, I can't imagine, because that would be really, really rough. So I am definitely blessed as far as that goes. My mom never had morning sickness either, so I don't know if it's genetic. What else can I talk about? I will be having a scheduled C-section this time, and I already, even though it's so early, I already have a lot of anxiety about the birth. If you don't already know, Charlie's birth was crazy and like traumatic, and it was an emergency C-section, and I was unconscious. It was everything. It was crazy. I have a whole video about it if you're curious. But yeah, this time around it'll be a scheduled C-section. My hospital, as far as I know, does not do VBACs. That's what I've been told. But even if they did, I have zero interest in going through what I went through last time. And I'm like a relatively holistic person. I know all about like the benefits and why it's important to not have a C-section if you can. Like, trust me, I know all that stuff. But in my specific case, and like I've been told, it's funny, I've been told multiple times since having Charlie, like during exams and stuff, like, oh, you have a super narrow pelvis, no wonder your baby got stuck during childbirth. And I'm like, would have been nice to know before. It would have been nice to know before I went through that. Could have prepared myself, you know. But yeah, I have apparently a very narrow pelvis, and my babies have large heads, so it's just not a good combo, and I don't want to go through that again. So scheduled C-section it is. I have heard, if you've had both, leave me a comment and let me know, but I've heard like when you've had an emergency C-section compared to a scheduled C-section, it's like night and day. And I hope and pray, literally I'm praying daily, that like this birth is just easy and smooth. Oh, Charlie is super excited to be a big brother. He talks about it all the time. He's always talking to the baby. Like, I keep being afraid I'm gonna say the baby and the baby's name. But Charlie's always talking to my belly, and it's like, it's very, very cute. I love the age gap that we ended up with. So Charlie's 3, he'll be almost 4. I'm due April 22nd. So he'll be almost 4. And, you know, I was kind of aiming more for like a 3-year gap, but I think like for him, I think this will be better than it would have been otherwise. I just feel like he has matured a lot in the last year, and I think that he'll handle this transition better than he would have if it had even been just a year prior. And it's fun because he understands what's happening, and he understands that there's a baby in my belly, and like, I don't know, it's fun. If we're able to have another baby, I might want to do it a little bit closer next time, mainly just because I'm getting older. But yeah, I'm happy with it, with the way that it all worked out. So I think that's kind of it for my little update. Let me know in the comments anything that you'd like to see pregnancy related this time around. I have another announcement coming soon, so this is like my big announcement, and then I have a second also big announcement coming soon. I'm not sure exactly when that'll be, but I'm gonna film it after this. Oh, I guess I'll show you my little bump situation. So yeah, you can kind of see a little, not much though. I didn't know this my first pregnancy, but I've been told that apparently my uterus tilts backwards, and so that's why I don't show till later. So bump updates are like not very exciting. Also, I've been living in these sweatshirts from Aerie. This is, I only have 2, but I wear them like almost every day, just rotate between the 2. I just wear these and like leggings every day because I'm at that stage where I'm not big enough for maternity clothes, but like jeans feel like torture. So this is kind of my current wardrobe. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.